This episode will be dedicated to Rita Doolin, my cosmetology instructor.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Where are my most beautiful queens in the house? Where are my most beautiful queens in the house?
Hey everybody, it's your girl Jamilah. Welcome to the Queen's Address. Welcome into the Queendom. Today we have very, very special guest in the building today. Well, actually, we're in her building. KiKi. Well, we're going to call her by her government, LaKisha Calloway. Thank you for being on the show today. And we're also joined by you all know and love. Nakissia is in the building today. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. How we doing?
I'm great.
Amazing. We doing good?
Happy,
yes.
grateful.
Yes,
healthy.
feeling good, looking good.
All the things.
Absolutely. And before we begin, I was just saying off camera, I love the outfits. I'm enjoying the outfits.
Oh, well, thank you, baby.
You all are giving
Always
fashion.
alive, always.
All the way. Okay, and so we're going to get right on into the interview. And so, LaKisha Calloway, you have been a stylist. When did you first start doing hair?
I was 19.
19 years old.
Yes.
Licensed, or are you in the basement doing
licensed at 21.
Really? Skin in the game.
Licensed at 21.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I started when I was 16. Well, I wasn't licensed, but
right.
I was cutting and perm. I was a shampoo girl at this place called Illusions in my hometown. So I was sweeping up hair and shampoo. Shout out to Illusions. Shout out to Pat McCruder.
Right.
And Miss Dot, everybody who gave me an opportunity.
Sonya?
But yeah, Sonya, the whole crew. And it was, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't, I had a lot of sisters, so I would practice on their hair, and I couldn't get enough. Like, I had to be doing hair.
Right.
And did you have a specialty when you first started out?
It was just everything hair, just whatever, just practicing. I remember doing French rolls and the finger waves and flips. It's funny how everything just kind of comes back full circle, but just tearing up people's heads,
Burning scalps.
Just feeling my way, learning.
Yeah.
And, it just became something that, was just ultimately great at.
Yeah. Keish, do you remember your first perm, your relaxer?
Girl, no, but I remember my first chemical. I had a Jerry curl, honey.
Okay, now.
So I thought I was Issa
But that was
Rae
a style.
from Thriller. You couldn't tell me nothing. But so that was my first chemical.
Yes.
I was young. I probably was like 7 or 8. I was little.
Oh, wow. I remember one of the first relaxers I got was a box kit. It was a Excel.
Okay.
No lie relaxer.
So
and I had to be about 10 or 11. And then I want to say I got a ravine or rave. Like we were always going to Sally's getting just soft and beautiful,
Dark
and lovely. Like
right.
Revlon had one too.
and then I had a phase where I would only stick with Motions, with the purple and the yellow container. I remember Dudley's. I had a bad experience with Dudley's. It wasn't for my hair type, but we had so much fun. Girl, hair would break off and grow back the next summer. But we like to have fun with our hair, and I just wanted to ask you, and Keisha, I'll ask you, how do you balance everything? You have a lot of things going on, and how do you balance work, being, motherhood, career, what do you do to stay?
So that work-life balance is something serious. A few years ago, I decided that I was no longer going to work evenings. When I first started my business, I was working around the clock, trying to make sure everything was just perfect. Trying to maintain the business and a marriage and young children. It ultimately became very, very difficult. Okay. And so as a result of that, I had a failed marriage. I had children that were just misbehaving. And the wear and tear of this industry on a family, if you're not doing that, if you don't have a good work-life balance, it can plummet. I was grateful that I was able to, regain my work-life balance. I was able to regain my children because I just had to simply say, you know what? I have to set hours and boundaries.
Absolutely.
And as a result of that, I came out, I got remarried, had another child. And so I just stuck to it. You have to take time out for you, for your family, your relationship with Christ. Like, I had to put things all in perspective. Like, so now it's just come second nature. Just that work-life balance is very, very important. I know I've experienced, building this business on the backs of on my back and then my family's back. Your children in a marriage can suffer.
And they want you to come to the basketball games, and the volleyball.
But I was so stuck behind that chair and trying to, afford us a lifestyle. So then, you start overcompensating your kids and then you're spoiling them and just... I need to write a book about it.
Listen,
girl, do it.
Do it.
You gonna help me, Jamilah?
Bestseller. We're gonna manifest that.
Right.
Yeah, I that's what I want the up and coming entrepreneurs to know. Work-life balance. It's not worth, the sacrifice is real, but it's not worth your life.
Absolutely.
So I've just been blessed. I was able to regain some stuff.
Absolutely.
And my children's relationships with my children and, things like that is just like priceless.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, let me say thank you to you both for having,
okay.
Beautiful experiences, right? Like the salon is a Black woman sanctuary,
Yes,
right?
it is.
And I know for many, many years, I was able to be in, a salon. Like, I know at one point, I don't remember the name of it, but you and Jamilah were in a salon together. I know Jamilah had her own salon. You had your own salon. And it is just amazing because what you all have offered, right?
Yes.
So I know, I'm going to say on behalf of all your clients and your clients, thank you, right?
You are welcome.
You all are
Thank you, Queen.
therapists and counselors. And not only are you like washing our hair, but it's like washing our souls, when we come in, because you build a bond, right?
Definitely.
Jamilah's my cousin, so it's like my sister cousin.
Absolutely.
But it's like you're able to talk about everything with your stylist.
I've learned a lot.
So much about people, I bet, right?
Totally.
And it's almost like we think that y'all know everything, right?
For some reason, we just do. I don't know.
Seriously.
I think I can speak for KiKi too when I say this, but because we know so much, we're almost like bartenders, and we become
Y'all are like therapists. Let's just keep it funky.
Empathetic
And counselors.
And then we also understand
Seriously.
so much psychology.
Yes.
When we are around people from all walks of life. I've had judges in my chair. I've had first ladies in my chair.
Yes.
I've had recovering addicts in my chair.
Absolutely.
I've had women struggling with domestic abuse.
Yes.
And I have to talk to them after everyone's gone so that they can cry on my shoulder before they get picked up.
Yes.
And you take on so many other hats.
But did you even realize that though when
Not
you stepped
really.
into
Initially,
it?
no.
I would say I did.
It just comes natural.
It comes natural.
And I think you'll find too that it's mostly like nurturing characteristics that we develop with our growth as a stylist, because you become sympathetic, you become empathetic, and even though we don't know exactly what we do in certain situations, we know enough to say, okay, I don't want that, I do want that.
Right.
This is what's happening for her in that relationship. I wonder if that could happen for me. If I just, things. When we have conversations in the beauty salon, it's a safe space for real conversation.
Definitely.
And then we were able to come up with our Thursday crew because we had the same women coming to the shop at the same time, every week. We knew
snacks.
we would have food, we might have some wine, but it was a book club. I mean, we've done all kinds of things at the shop.
As a result of the salon.
Yeah, the result of the salon. So again, thank you.
Absolutely.
I could go on and on about how much I appreciate
I received that
my
because
stylist.
I received that because there are, I think we can both agree.
Thing.
There are not a lot of safe spaces for Black women.
Right.
And when I say Black women, I have to be specific about African American descendants of slaves. I have to say that in particular because we have a lot of immigration happening. But it's something that we have been doing for like since Madam C.J. Walker.
Absolutely.
It's been a space for us because we don't belong or we get ignored everywhere else. We have to say, excuse me, I was next in line. You don't see me, but here we're seen and appreciated in a salon.
Yeah, and valued. Totally.
And valued.
Yeah.
And then we could come there, and most women are coming from where work, right? Where they are not the majority. But when you come to the salon, you are, and it's like a sisterhood. It's just, it's really a beautiful experience.
It
really is. It's a bond and it's a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and then I know I miss the days of being able to go to the shop and you might be able to get some incense and some oils and the CD.
It's like a bean pie.
You know what I'm saying? A bean pie. You know, it's all
But as we were upgrading down through the years, we had to chill. We had to, fall back on some of that. We wanted to be a little more elevated and upscale. But those were good times.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about it.
Those were good times.
No, I used to love the dinners.
Girl, okay?
And sometimes you get some good deals on some knockoff Coach bags too, but that might be another episode.
That's another episode.
Oh yeah, that's back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you get some Girl Scout cookies, a pound cake, all kind of goodness.
On Saturday.
Entrepreneurs.
That was the best day because everybody's off. So we have the most fun on Saturdays.
Right.
All
Or
day. Some
Thursday.
people will come to the shop.
Just to check in.
Just coming in to hang out.
Do that. I
They'll
was
be like,
talking to my girlfriend the other day.
I don't really need nothing. I just want to be around y'all.
I come up here every Saturday at 10 o'clock to check on KiKi or Jamilah to make sure y'all need breakfast. Did you eat? Do you have what you need? That's real.
Exactly.
That's real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I miss that.
I do too.
I really do miss that. And it's almost like now in this day and age, it's almost like folklore. When I hear you speak of it,
Listen.
it's almost like folklore of our culture. Because now everybody's on their phone. Everybody's looking at their phone,
on their phone,
scrolling, or they're
and
on
then
their
the
laptop.
salon. A lot of the stylists these days, they want to be a little more exclusive and more one-on-one with their clients. And for me, that would be rough because I still enjoy the presence of other women and just, we overcome by each other's testimonies.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of times just hearing how your day was or how you made it past this illness or how you got over, how you dealt with, this unruly child or how did you lose weight or how did we really need those. I still enjoy those conversations.
Yes.
And
especially from those elders.
So I have to admit, I still love being on a salon floor. I do respect the stylists that want to be more one-on-one and exclusive with their client. And I kind of want the best of both worlds. I want to be exclusive with my client, but I want to be like, hey sis, how'd you make your mac and cheese?
That's right.
How you put your, I just want it all. I want the exclusivity. Is that a word? It is now. Exclusivity with my client.
That's right.
And I also want the community.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I remember, and I'll be brief about a story. We were at Expressions. I forget she's an elderly lady, beautiful soul. And she had just lost her husband. And everybody in the salon was saying, I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh my goodness. I'm going to give her a name, Miss Rita. Miss Rita, I'm so sorry. And she's like, yeah, me and my husband, we were married for 50 years. And everybody kept saying, well, is there anything I can do? I know you miss him. She's like, no, I don't.
Whoa. Miss Rita kept it 1,000.
When I tell you, we clutched our pearls. And she said, listen, I did not have a good marriage. He kept me from my family.
Oh.
She said, I want you young ladies to marry a man who appreciates y'all. And she said, and I want you to marry somebody you like. I didn't like him. I married him very young. And we were just flabbergasted.
Right.
Because when you hear 50 years of marriage, you think marital
it's
bliss.
ups and downs, but
I remember I was very young when she said it. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh,
wow.
Perception isn't always a reality.
Oh, definitely.
And here's this woman with gray hair and a cane saying, honey, I'm glad now I can go visit my sisters in Georgia. He kept me from my family. I was like his property. And I just remember thinking, this is eye-opening.
Wow.
Some of those elders had gems for relationships, money tips. They like, honey, don't let them know you got a separate bank account. And we'd be laughing all day, but they were serious. They would make it into a joke, but it just things like, okay, this is what, we talk about the macaroni and cheese. and they would talk about recipes for peach cobbler.
All that.
And like, honey, you don't want to do that. Now, let me tell you, if you're going to make your greens, cut that stem out of the greens, roll it up like this, and then cut it like in little pieces. We'd be like, yes, ma'am.
You're right.
But that's one thing I miss was just the elders.
Yeah.
All up in our mix.
Now we're the elders.
Now, listen, now we old school.
Yes.
Now we are old school. You know, and so just with the salon, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the pay difference. Just with Black stylists and versus the white salon experience, sometimes we get complaints that a sewing is too expensive, or, you know, and so we see white women paying like upwards of $250 for a color retouch. Why do y'all think our people have a problem paying for services that, you know, they really, really want, but they'll find money for, you know, a pair of red bottoms, but they're having trouble cash apping you a deposit for a sew-in? Why do we struggle to get our worth?
I believe certain stylists are going to get what their worth is.
Right.
The moment you're going back and forth about what your worth is, that's just not your client.
No negotiations.
So yeah, I have to admit there's been stylists that have been getting their worth since the beginning of time. It's up to you to, you know, demand or command, you know, the price is the price. Here it is. And they have it. Our women, they have it to pay.
Yes, they do.
If they're going to pay you that, and for what they want, they're going to pay for it. I haven't really had a huge issue with not getting my worth. Now you will, you know, get tested like, well, when did your price go up? You know, you just answer with love, like, well, hey, the economy is everything's going up.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So when you say stylists and getting their worth, I believe it's more on the stylist versus, you know, the client.
Clientele, yeah.
Definitely. Simply because you're a stylist, you're in a professional salon. You know, I haven't had, and none of my coworkers, I don't believe that we've really had issues about people not wanting to pay. Of course, people will question it, but, you know, we have the answer. Now, I can see, you know, someone not wanting to pay their worth if they're like at home in their basement or, you know, doing, you know, kitchen hair. But in the salon, you know, I haven't had that
expectation there.
I have not had that experience where, you know, people don't want to pay
challenge
my
your
price.
price.
Yes, yeah. And then too, I started off at expressions.
That's right.
And you know, so it's just like I take that back. I started off at Bridges and then went on to
Unique
expressions.
boutique?
Yes. And then went on to more elevated spaces. So I believe it's where you're at. You'll get challenged.
That determines
on your pricing. But as long as you're, and I could be wrong, but as I found that I have just been able to get my worth. And then there's times where I had to remind myself of my worth. Like, wait a minute, I need to be charging more because it's taking out way more time, more wear and tear on me.
The cost of products.
The cost of all the things, And so it's like, you know, getting your worth is up to you. And then when I went up on pricing, my clients were like, oh, okay, well, wait a minute. Okay, cool. So it was never really a challenge for them. It was more for me because sometimes we'd be like not feeling like we should charge. Like, well, dang, I used to charge this for this same exact service, but it's totally different now. Products are different. Overheads are expensive. And so we've just been blessed here at Key Essence to just have clients, like you said, we've been blessed to serve as judges and doctors and lawyers and like really good professionals. So our price is the price, and it's never really been challenged. You know, I think, like I said, the most challenging part was us knowing our worth and requesting that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that goes by faith. And you know, some clients stick around and some of them won't, but then the people that really want what you're providing will come and pay and tip.
Absolutely.
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
Absolutely. And so I was talking to someone, a friend the other day, and she was telling me how she read an article about the salon industry. She said, do you know that it's considered a luxury? It's to get your hair done now. Because so many people have gone to YouTube. And she's like, and they'll say, listen, I'm using this product. And they'll put the product right in the camera like this. And they'll show you how much they're using. And they'll do their own twist out. Or they'll do their own cornrows. And they're like, okay, so if I can do simple things myself, or even 2 French braids and make a bun. She said, Jamilah, I was like, okay, I remember getting my hair done, like a couple of the styles these girls were doing themselves. So she'll say, okay, I'll go to the salon if I need a trim, if I need a chemical service.
For something that she can't do on
For
her
something
own.
that she can't do.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see like beginner style, not master stylists.
Right.
But beginner stylists saying it's $100 for a basic silk press. And some people who are used to the $25 holla,
Those days.
they're like, I'm
over
going to
with.
ask my niece to do my hair.
Right.
If they don't have it to give to pay for the service. And so you see a lot of people saying, you know, okay, if I really want to treat myself, I'll go in the salon. But if not, I'm going to try and manage it myself, because we also know the economy is tricky right now. And so a lot of people are looking for ways to save money.
Right.
And I think in our culture, I remember back in the day, I'm a 90s. I grew up in the 90s. And it was about getting your hair done and your nails done.
Right.
But now
Fancy.
you got your hair, your nails, your
Brows and
lashes.
lashes,
You know what
girl.
I'm
I
saying?
want brow lashes.
And brow lash. You know what I'm saying? That can be costly.
Yes.
And, you know, a professional, you know, or someone making a certain amount may be able to afford all of those things. But then you may have, you know, the young lady that's, I mean, I remember in high school, I was getting my nails and my hair done. You know what I'm saying? And that is a luxury. You know what I'm saying?
definitely
But
is.
some people are trying to put food on the table and do those things too. And it's like, okay, now which one do I do
gotta
this week?
cut
Or I
corners.
wish I could
Yeah.
get a discount, or I didn't have to pay X amount. So it's expensive to, you know,
Very.
show up and show out.
Right, but I
that's
think-
why I'm glad that
Yeah.
I'm okay with my hair and still with my nails every now and then. But
Right.
but
right.
to each his own, you know, whatever works.
Absolutely. I believe you made a very interesting point. You know, like having your hair and your nails and your pedicure.
And
it's a
makeup.
for-
Some
and your
people,
makeup.
like, you know,
Paying for
now some
makeup
people
services now.
paying
Listen,
for
I
makeup
would drop
services.
$75 on a humbug at Ulta. Like, oh my gosh. Like I was planning to get $35 but just like going to Ulta or going to Sephora, I'm like, oh my gosh. And just, you know, to your point, getting your hair and your nails done and stuff, it's also a form of self-care.
It absolutely
And
is.
I believe that when you work hard and you do, like, you know, to Kiki's
Yeah.
point, you work hard for your family, you will find space and time to
Yeah.
make an appointment and say, I'm going to
Absolutely.
go get my facial done.
Right.
I am going
As you
to
should.
go and get my pedicure. I'm going to get my braids retouched. I'm going to get my
Right.
color retouched. You know why? Because I'm worthy of it.
That part.
I deserve
Yeah.
it. And I really need this for myself. Not only is it a form of self-care, it's a form of self-love.
Yes. And we love to change our hair.
Listen,
All the
we-
changes
black
I want to do to
women
my
love
hair.
to
I
have fun
can't
with your hair.
do all that. Right. I can't
It
make
is
all
an
these
instant
changes. I'm
change.
like, Jamilah, what we doing this week? You know?
Yeah.
You know, or I want to try something different all the time. It's just like, it's what we do.
It's
too,
serving
you know?
looks. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's part of our DNA.
It's part of our DNA.
You know, braided today, twisted tomorrow. You know, short red today,
Short,
red
long,
blonde tomorrow.
Yes, yes. The
Yeah, you know, we
versatility, I
like to
love it.
have fun. You know, I was just telling Keisha off camera how Beyonce recently caught a lot of heat for going platinum. And a lot of people were saying, oh, why does she, and she looks white, like she looks like she wants to be white and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's cool when Kardashian do it. It's a problem when Beyonce does it. And so I wanted to ask y'all, why are Black women always getting policed? Whether it's in the corporate workspace, whether it's at schools, whether, you know, you're in the hospitals. Why are we always being targeted and policed about our hair? Keisha, I'm gonna start with you because
Oh
you've been in
my.
corporate and you've got,
Listen.
you could write a book.
I could.
Some of the looks and questions. Oh, can I
I
touch your
could.
hair? What did you call that?
Or I got this one not too long ago. Oh, I didn't know your hair was that long. I'm like, it's braids. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you know, people, I guess people don't know. But I think that part of it has to do with like just not understanding, right? Our hair and our culture and how we like to change and how we like to do looks. And then like hate, like we set the trends. So for anybody to say that Beyonce, you know, and anyone else is trying to be like, you know, someone else, I'm like, I don't know about that, right? again, I feel like sisters set the trends, and then it's like other people try to figure out,
Right.
you know, what's going on, whether that's hair color, hair texture, or whatever the case may be. Like right now, the trend is locks or twist, like all the young boys and
Shout out to
you
Chloe
know,
and Holly.
and you know
I love their
are
locks.
like, you know,
Layla
twisting their
Hathaway.
hair. Right. And it's just like, it's what we do. So for people to critique that is, again, I feel like they don't understand, or it's just a level of hate. Right. Because not everyone can show up one day red, the next day braided,
lot of people don't have
and
the
then the fro,
nerve.
Exactly.
or the nerve, the guts, the gall, the gumption to do
And
that.
it could be confused admiration. Because, you
Hey.
know, there are a couple of groups out here that can wear it down, curled, or in a pullback ponytail. And so those are the options.
Yeah, that's it.
And, you know, but you have black women that come in, middle part buzz down,
Right.
braids, twists, locks, a sculpted updo, okay, finger curls, like with your natural pattern, just taking a little gel and making finger curls. And so sometimes I just wonder if other groups who come at us, could it be confused admiration? Like,
I'm
could
pretty
it be
sure.
like, I
I'm
wish
pretty-
I
yeah, I
could
would
do
say
that,
yes,
and I
absolutely.
can't. So I'm gonna criticize it or call it primitive.
Again,
or
I don't understand
and, you know,
it.
we'll hear the dog whistling and little microaggressions online in the comments, like, "Oh, this hairstyle is so stupid for Rihanna." Define stupid.
And why does it matter to you?
Why does it
How
matter?
Rihanna
much?
is
Who
walking
cares
in
so
her
It
much?
head.
takes a lot of confidence, and you know, we're proud. So it's
Proud.
yeah, and
Because,
it-
honey,
and
when you
it's
turn that
okay.
chair around and I
You
look
can
in that
be
mirror,
like you said, today platinum, tomorrow she could be right on back black. Like it
Listen,
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Exactly.
Right. It's all a feeling. It's like, how do I feel today? Like,
Exactly.
right? How do I want to show up today
Form
or
of
this week?
expression.
Right.
I
A
love
form
it.
of expression. Yeah.
We like to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best things I love. Well, one of the things I love about the salon, the black salon experience in particular, you know, when the clients come in, they trust us. And they'll say, Jamilah, okay, listen, I brought in a picture, or let me show you my phone. Like, you know, can I try this
old
Ice
hair
Spice
book.
color? It's like red, but it's kind of a auburn red. And I'll be like, okay, well, let's do a patch test. Okay, what do you mean patch test? Like, okay, I'm gonna take a piece from behind your ear and we're gonna see if you have an allergic reaction before we. And so we would have space and opportunity to educate, as well as try new fun looks with our clients. And I always enjoyed that, because when you turn them into the mirror and there's a whole new look on their face, like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I could wear this color or
That
wear
is
these
so
curls or wear
rewarding.
this style.
I
or
can only
For me,
imagine.
yeah. And it was just always, I think that's what kept me behind a chair, was that feeling. Or like when a client would burst into tears from joy. I mean, I've had someone burst into tears from being angry that she cut her bangs. But I think more so I crave the feeling of that gratitude for a new makeover.
Yeah.
And it would just give me all the feels, and I'd be like, okay, I'm supposed to do this. This is my destiny.
It's a level of confidence that you feel like when you look good. And then if you're, you know, when your hair.
For you to be a part of that,
Oh
it
my
makes you feel good as
goodness.
a stylist.
Yes. And then the special
Absolutely.
occasions, you know, the weddings, or, you know, the proms, or, you know, the birthdays, or whatever they're celebrating, right? The recovery or whatever, right? And it's like, you were a part of that, like you said.
You play a huge role
a
in
huge
that.
role. A huge role.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know we
Changing
don't take
lives.
it lightly.
We really
We
don't.
do
know
not
y'all
take it
don't.
lightly.
We really don't. And I think that's why you see most stylists stay in the business for years.
Yeah.
Because it's also a feeling that comes with it. And then you have like emotional attachments to your clients. You know, and they become like ones who come every 2 weeks. Sometimes you see clients more than you see your own family members that might live out of town. Of course. And things like that. And I know, just real quick, I'm going to just share a quick story. I had a client who was going through chemo. And she was losing her hair. We had grown her hair out for years. Once she started to shed the hair, I was more emotional about it, because we had went through all these treatments and pigment treatments and you know, these restorative treatments and stuff. So I said, oh my gosh, it's coming. And she was like, girl, it's just hair. Like, it's just hair.
Right.
And I'm like, but I don't know what to do. You know, and she was just kind of like, well, you know, it'll come back.
But that just
I'm like, but we
serves
did
as
deep
how you
conditioning
that
treatments
condition,
and trim the ends and-
that connection you had with her.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it did come back. And she was like, see? And look, this texture is different. Let's see what we can do with this new texture. It's a tiny afro. Maybe we could try some new looks. But to your point, the attachment of my work, going into, like, I had someone rinse a hairstyle out once because she She felt like she just didn't really like the way it was curled, and that hurt my feelings.
I can't imagine.
Like
that.
Erykah Badu says, I'm an artist.
Right.
I'm
I'm
sensitive about but I know you probably feel the same. Like you put your soul into the integrity of a style. And if someone messes it up or sleeps wrong and come in with this side fell. And I'm like, what did you do?
I know y'all used to get that all the
I
time.
got caught in the rain. But we care about what we do.
Right.
We're creatives
That's
and we're
funny.
sculptors of hair.
Yeah,
And
artists.
so it's personal.
It is personal.
If someone washes their hair out or they sleep wrong on their curls, it's like, no, you dog my hair, do I?
Where's your silk pillowcase?
So it's an attachment. Exactly, Keish. It's like, okay, how dare you?
That's funny.
But yeah, and so wanted to talk too a little bit about what's going on with, actually want to read you guys something, if that's okay. If I got a little time. I got my...
2 more.
Okay. Got 2 more questions.
Take your time. Do your thing.
No, I got you. So I read an article in the media, on the Medium, an article by Kanya Matsali, and it was called "The Radical History of the Head Wrap." And so when I read this article, I love to read articles. The article, I'm going to just start right here where I highlighted. Laws were made on behalf of white women who felt that slaves with various shades of brown and many different hair textures were a distraction to white men. Okay? There are reports and examples of white women almost forcibly shaving off the hair of black slaves. White women used to complain that basically when they walk with their slaves, white men get all confused about who's the slave and who's the mistress. So it was much better to have black women in head wraps. And so we see the slave movies like 12 Years a Slave, and they have the handkerchiefs and stuff on. And so I feel like for years, we couldn't really be proud in our community, in our culture, at our core, until Madam C.J. Walker came around and said, listen, we're going to start taking those head wraps off and scarves off. Don't hide your hair. Don't hide your curls. Let's come out of that. And so, we were talking about just like what Beyonce and things happening in corporate, where we're getting policed for how we wear our hair and how we look and present to the world. Sometimes we get criticized for doing too much or too much sauce or too much sass with the waves and the twists. And so I wanted to give you guys hot take on society as a whole and what we do and why what we do is just kind of always getting policed by just about everyone from the hair care industry. Also, when you go into hair stores, they're Korean, Asian owned hair stores. And why can't we seem to control our own narrative, in society?
We are like you said, it may be a mistaken of just for admiration. Police meaning like judged on how we're wearing our hair.
Like you're not allowed to wear braids in the workplace or can't wear locks
and
because it might be unprofessional.
Things have kind of loosened up. Things have kind of loosened up, for us in that perspective. I still believe that it's just a matter of confidence. And, people wish they could do. And, some people wish they could do what we do. And, it's just not possible. Our texture is just different. And we have, we are more proud and we just have more confidence to wear certain styles. But nowadays I see all types of races just doing them.
Right.
Who cares who's policing us? Let's care more about passing the baton.
Absolutely.
Like showing people how, yes, I have been in this business for over 20 years successfully. Let's show the next generation how they could do the same.
Exactly.
Right.
Would you consider teaching?
Oh, definitely.
Teaching.
I would consider mentoring.
Okay.
Just
You'd be awesome.
Just a mentorship or something along those lines, because it is really time to pass the baton.
Yeah.
Later are the days with going to our grave with all this good wisdom and knowledge. We need to
experience.
We need to share and pass the baton so that we could just keep this great thing going.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Sounds like something to explore and talk
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
No, I would love to see
Seriously.
KiKi's beauty school.
Mhm.
You know, like, hey, come on in and get your degree. Okay.
Amazing.
You've had like a lot of success with the photo shoots and the hair book industry. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences? Also, hair shows. Can you talk a little bit about your experiences with the hair magazine era?
Yeah.
Well, before
So,
Pinterest showed up on the scene.
I was gonna say I've been doing this for so long. The hair magazine, those were the days where, like, before Instagram, before all this social media. It was so fun. It was a way of connecting and networking. Getting behind that camera, you just felt like a superstar.
Okay.
And then to see your work printed in pages,
Yes.
you know, and unfortunately, those days is just they didn't came and gone. But my experience were. It was fantastic to go through those pages and see my work and my coworkers, and those were some great times.
Yeah.
Those were some great times.
Absolutely. You know, Keisha
And
was
all over the nation.
all over the world.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
East Coast.
Like,
Keisha was my model in a few volumes of Ohio City Trends.
Yes.
And I remember, I think LeBron James's wife, Savannah, was on the cover of one.
Oh, wow.
And I had a client say, okay, what do I need to do to become a model? I said, I don't.
Right.
Like, I asked my cousins to do it. Yeah. I'm like, no, I
She
asked
wanted
my
to be
cousins to
a
do
model
it.
part.
But the reaction, to your point, the reaction to people around the city,
Yeah.
It was a
seeing
big
your
deal.
work with your
Yeah.
name, with your phone number and your salon address, the impact was so dope. Like, and then other artists that I would see, and other barbers as well.
Yeah.
Nail techs.
But we grew up on that, right?
Yes.
Think about when we were young. And you
Yes.
would go in the salon and you would look in the book to
Yeah.
get hairstyles, right? I know I did.
Now your clients have it all in their hands.
Right, it's all in their
You'll
hand.
pull
It's on
up
the
styles
phone.
on.
Absolutely. And who knew? I didn't even know I wanted to be a model. I didn't even know I could. I thought that was my sister's. That was her lane.
You can
Right.
still model.
Listen
we
here.
still
Jamila
stylists, we
Call.
still do need models.
Yes.
It's just
I'm
not going
like-
to be in a magazine.
It's
It's
on
going to be on
YouTube.
IG. Or,
Yes.
yeah.
Because you see a lot of young
But I
girls using
loved
IG.
it, and I didn't even know I loved it.
Yeah. And it was fun. And
It
I
was
think
so
at the
much
time, Top
fun.
Model was popping.
Oh yes,
So
it was so much fun.
getting in the mirror and watching the girls like in the mirror before their shoot,
Yes.
like before their session would begin, and they're getting their makeup,
Get
their
my
lashes,
smiles.
and they're like, okay,
Right.
like you don't want this angle, like
Right.
okay. But when I tell you, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It felt like a grown-up field trip
Yeah.
to come out
It
from
was
behind a
fun.
chair.
Mm-hmm.
And
Participate in those
I wonder,
shows.
do you guys remember the Hair Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Do y'all remember the Hair Wars?
I remember.
Those Detroit stylists. Okay, we got to unpack these Detroit stylists because
Killing the game.
killing the game. Shout out to Cool C and Big Bad D. But we used to follow these girls, and we used the lacquer because they would put it in the magazines.
Yeah.
But I had a cousin tell me, my cousin lives in Detroit. He said, listen, I think all the Detroit stylists that you talk about have all moved to Atlanta because you can't really get. I was like, the Bonner Brothers happens in Atlanta, so that makes sense.
Yeah. That was a big deal too.
Yeah.
Every year.
But, it would be some of the most creative sculptures. I said, okay, this is
art. It's
I don't know what I'm
The
looking
hair
at
industry
the
is
time.
still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is still
The
a
creativity.
lot to see.
The
Yeah.
creativity.
I saw a girl with a helicopter
Yeah.
on her head made out of hair
Yeah, that was back in the day.
back in the
Oh,
day. And I said, okay, how is that happening? I saw a girl with an ice cream cone. And I said,
People
you know what?
we still are super creative with
Very
hair.
creative.
So
Sculpting
dope.
hair, KiKi.
Artists.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you have people who paint, you have people who create pottery, you have people who sketch and draw.
Art.
We have hairstylists who create art that's wearable on their heads. And I said, you know what? This would be an incredible, like if I thought about a coffee table book with just styles. Because now you see like Nicki Minaj wearing the pink wigs that are sculpted up. And I'm like, I remember when that was on the stage at Hair Wars. It is so like
That's so
inspiring to see that it's still going on in this day and
Full
time.
circle.
Yeah, it does never die. It just goes away for a while and come back. Just like you see the flare jeans coming back. And I'm like, oh, my daughter's like, well, I need some flare jeans, not the skinny jeans. And I'm like, oh, those are back?
Right.
Who knew?
Right.
Glad I didn't throw all of mine away.
Back around. Everything.
What's one hair trend y'all do not want to see come back? Give me, Keish. Look, you got several. Look.
And I have to admit, I'm a trendy person.
Okay.
So I love all the different trends.
Okay.
And I recently, well, not recently, but I've been doing a lot of waves lately.
I know.
I love a good trend.
Right. Yeah.
Here today, gone tomorrow. That's fine. We on to the next style.
Okay.
So I can't answer that. I don't mind. If it come back, I'm gonna do it.
You got
I'm here for
if it makes its way back. What about you, Keish? I don't want to see the Jerry curl come back.
I was thinking that. I was thinking the Jerry curl, and I had one and was so proud of it. But for me, it's the pin curl, like
ponytail
updo, only because shout out to my dad. But one time I got one, and my dad was like,
"That's not happening. That ain't the one."
I was like, "What, Dad? It's a trend." Look, he was like, "Nah, sis." I was like, "Oh." So that's for me, and that's personal, right? But
I'd have to say one of the trends I'm good on seeing coming back, and KiKi, I know you probably remember this one. Keisha, I know you do too. But the crunchy roller set with the waves up here.
Yeah, with that.
I could never save those curls because you couldn't really pick the roller set out. You would like finger comb it out and then spray the living daylights out of it.
The spreads. So damaging to our hair, right?
When I tell you, I've had plenty of times where I slept like this, wake up and there's still a straight piece from how I laid on it.
You don't want that to come back.
I don't want that. I don't have to see that one come back, sis. Okay. Or the Jerry curls. And I'm thinking that, you know what? I don't have to see the stair step, you know how the barbers used to do the
stat curl. Oh, the steps.
How the barbers, because I love the barbers. Shout out to all the barbers out there. But that stair step, I'm like, okay, because if you don't pick it out and if you don't keep it up, it looks really bad, and you might as well just wear a Bobby Brown slope.
Now that was hot though.
Because you got to keep it up.
Steps too. Right. Somebody got his steps right.
But the minute they sleep on it wrong, I'll be like, okay, you got to go back to the barber.
But I'm trendy. So I'm here for it. The steps, if the
high
steps
maintenance.
Come back, yeah.
No, I worked in a barbershop. Shout out to Wilma's. But I worked in a barbershop when I first started out, and there was a barbershop, and there was a little doorway, and then there was the stylist area. And they had, Mr. Mike and Hawkins and all those guys. They had a chokehold on that Philly taper, temple taper with the thin sideburns. I used to like how the fellas looked with that. Yeah. I thought that looked nice. And, barbers are incredible too. Like, especially now the new stuff that they're doing with the hair color and like the designs with those tiny clippers.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy seeing what they're doing. Yeah, and then some of the stuff they're doing with the beards. Like, I'm like, this is not my daddy's beard. Like, you guys are doing the whole new stuff, and you're adding like the temporary color, and I'm like, yo, these guys are amazing.
But that's the industry.
Yeah, ever evolving.
No, not at all.
We're here to serve, and whatever you confident enough to rock,
we can do it.
We gonna go ahead and we're gonna fulfill it. We're gonna fulfill
That's
it.
right.
Like, come on.
That's right.
That part.
That's right. So how do you see the industry changing? What trends do you see coming up that might be hot here soon?
I see the industry drastically changing. For instance, I was speaking with a client. She had scheduled an appointment with a new stylist because I don't do weave. That's just my own personal preference. I don't like to really get into the weaves. So she made an appointment with a stylist, went in, didn't read the fine print. She had to have her hair already shampooed. And for me, someone like me, old school, shampooing, that's the best part of the service. That's
I look forward to that.
So the industry, like this was a professional. She informed her, like, listen, you didn't read the fine print. So now, you need you need your hair shampooed.
Right.
I don't have time to, let you reschedule because she was intending for this client to come in and sit right down and start getting her sew-in, her breakdown for her sew-in. She had to reschedule.
Oh, wow.
And so the industry is just picking up like people, they want more money and they want to do less work. And I'm not sure if we can call that working smarter and not harder, or is it just really just, I don't know, bullying clients because, she was new and she did not read the fine print. So she couldn't argue that. Right. So she's like, okay, so my appointment, I can't be serviced. She was just like, no, I cannot shampoo, your current style out and then blow dry you and start my service. And so she had to reschedule. Yeah. So I said, this is what it's coming to.
Right.
Stylists, back in the day, we would break our backs to serve.
Yes.
Nowadays,
it's not the same.
The generation now is like, listen.
Yeah.
You booking online.
Right.
You didn't read the fine print. That's your fault.
Right. You need to come washed and blow dried.
And you're not getting your deposit back. That's not refundable. Because now remember, when have we ever required a deposit? Now that's where the industry is.
That's where it's headed.
It's all about money. And I'm here for the money.
Right, right.
But it's all about like a convenience of a service. And this is like, you're blessed to sit in my chair. Wherein when we were coming up, I'm blessed that you're coming to me. Yeah. I'm blessed that you coming to me, but now it's been flipped. You're blessed that I got you in.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, oh, okay. So for just that little scenario, the industry is changed.
Yes.
I'm telling you. So it's just like, the no children unless being serviced. That's a big deal. Now, back in the day, you and your kids come, and they run around, like, sit down, get a little book. But now they got the tablet.
Here go your snack.
But things like that. So it's just like, do we compromise service for like the love of the business? Are we now just like watering down who we are, or what we want to, what we do for our clients just to keep up with everything else?
Exactly.
So these are opportunities where you can set your business exclusive. Yes, you're going to pay me a lot more, but at least, you can come and know you're going to get your hair shampooed.
Right. Right.
And, I'm going to take that, one-on-one time to really figure out what your hair care needs are.
Absolutely.
Versus,
because sometimes you can't really know the state of the hair unless you see it when it's wet or damp. So, you don't know if it's dry or malnourished, or there's micro knots in it, or if it's, you might need to do a deep conditioning treatment. It might be some thinning areas that might not have been visible when you come in and your hair's already dry. And so when you shampoo it, and that's why it burns me that a lot of the, young stylists coming up, they have a gift, and I'm glad that they got their gift, they got their hustle, but they might not even know that they're looking at ringworm on a client's scalp. Or if it's, okay, maybe there's alopecia happening, or maybe there's, a stress patch happening. And so we had to learn to identify certain things that can only happen when the hair is wet or damp.
Yeah.
And a lot of these young ladies too, they don't know the proper sanitation methods. Like you have to use barbicide and alcohol after each client. COVID showed us that 91% alcohol you can use on your chairs and wipe them down, and you'll kill viruses. But a lot of young ones that are coming up, they just, like you said, they're about that dollar. Like, get them in, get them out. Okay, this comb is filthy. It fell on the floor. I don't care. I got another one coming.
But the industry that's not our focal point.
And fleas in your hair.
We are just more about in and out, getting that top dollar. And making sure, if that lace is melted properly around that skin.
That's it. And that's the priority.
And I get it,
for because a lot of them.
and that's just where we are. The industry has changed.
I think also that's why you see the state board cracking down too. And it's because like too many things are happening without being regulated, and I think we'll probably see in the future just regulations changing.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest, state board, in my opinion, is getting watered down as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
They have what you call now a boutique licensing.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to do all those hours in school and,
I read that.
Where you can just go and get a boutique license and come in the salon and just do braids and things like that.
Concierge.
And so, to our point, like the industry has just changed, and it's from the head all the way down. Exactly. Because state board now, because they're all about this dollar too.
They are.
So it's just like, to renew is you're making more money off of the pioneers and the newcomers and the people that they don't even have to go to school that long anymore you could just, like I said, get a boutique license and work underneath someone else.
Exactly. And get your,
things are changing.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. If you could go back 20 years to little KiKi just starting out, what would you say to her on this journey that you've been on?
Oh my gosh. I would tell KiKi, I love you. And I'm so proud of you for stepping out on faith, wanting to tackle this broad industry. Mm-hmm. So I've been a salon owner for over 20 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would definitely tell young KiKi, do what you can and do your best, and do not allow people to put you in a box and make you feel guilty about your success. And that would really have helped me out if So I'm just proud of who I've become. My journey has been great. Plenty of ups and downs. I've had an opportunity to work with some of the greats in this city. I don't take that lightly. I would definitely learn that work-life balance earlier. I would tell young KiKi, balance your work life. But again, building a business, took priority in my life back then. And I wish I could talk to her.
Yeah.
However,
you keep her close. I keep mine close. I keep her close. I talk to her every day.
So being where I am now, I don't take it for granted. I feel so blessed to have been in the industry for as long as I have. My doors have never closed. I started one salon. We were there for a little over 10 years. Quiescence grew. And we've been in this location for 11, almost 12 years. And I am proud to say that I recently sold this business and I love it here so much, I still work here. So I am a product of what I've been talking about. I passed the baton. And I just feel so blessed and honored. A girlfriend of mine purchased the business and she has got some amazing things coming down the pike. But again, just growing up in this industry and, taking things for face value, it's no small thing to own and operate a business of this magnitude.
Yes.
I mean, my heart goes out to a salon owner with 5 chairs all the way to,
20 chairs.
It's no small thing.
It is not for the faint of heart.
2 chairs.
Right.
Being in the driver's seat is
managing personalities.
Small thing.
Yes. Inventory, the budget.
Oh my goodness.
Insurances.
Yes.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Everything. And then on top of that, maintaining a great atmosphere where clients feel comfortable to come in, and so I'm just so proud of me.
Yes.
I like, honey, to God be the glory for all of the things. And I sit here in my old salon, new salon, because it's Quiescence Grand, and my goal was to become a household name. So mission accomplished. I feel like I have reached the pinnacle of my career. And to sit in here right now knowing that Quiescence is getting ready to be tenor, it just warms my heart because I know people whose salons, they had to close their doors and retire. But I get to retire and still watch what I started carry
forward.
on now to Tana's starting this.
Right.
And now I'm just so excited to see her success in this industry.
Yes.
So, it's one thing to pave the way.
But it's movement still. Movement is life.
And it's even more of a blessing for someone to come behind me and keep that way.
And keep it going.
And then it's my prayer that she'll be able to,
build on that.
That she'll be able to cash out on her investment and let another entrepreneur come in and take it by storm again. That's what we got to get to.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
so grateful.
Absolutely.
So grateful.
So Jamilah, same question to you. What would you tell younger Jay? What advice would you give?
If I could go back in time and have a conversation, I would probably tell her that your confidence is coming. You are enough. I would tell her, work more on your hair cutting skills. Because I didn't prioritize cutting until like my 4th year into being a licensed stylist. I was a braider. I'd entered the game as a braider, and then I did sew-ins. And so that was just,
that was it.
And so I had a lot of time doing that. And if I would probably tell her too, like lay off of the braids because of the carpal tunnel. And then even with the Marcel irons, there's a movement that we have to do with our Marcels. I would say, look, you need to get a flat iron, an electric flat iron with ceramic or tourmaline plates, because these irons are heavy and it's going to produce wear and tear on your wrists. And also don't stand with your knees locked, because when you go down low to your station, you're going to hear them pop sometimes. So I'll probably tell her, be careful with that. Wear a knee brace, get you something comfortable to stand on. And I would also tell young Jamilah to know your worth. Prioritize your worth.
That's a good one.
Because you are worthy of whatever it is you feel you deserve in terms of pay, in terms of time off. To your point about traveling, like I wanted to travel a lot, but I did not prioritize putting aside money to travel. I was buying Louis Vuitton bags to show everybody I had it like that. It was a status symbol. Every hairdresser I know has a Louis Vuitton bag. I've never met one.
Because if you ain't got a designer bag, I don't trust you.
If you have
keep it all the way funky.
I'm just go ahead and tell my truth.
Listen, because you can't be
Louis, but
you had to have a Louis. You couldn't walk in the shop.
Listen, no.
When I tell you had to have a Louis, you could not walk in with a Fooey. Okay, but I would probably tell her, save your money, invest in yourself.
That's good.
Know that you're enough, and travel more. And I agree with KiKi, and I'll piggyback off what you said about making sure you balance your work life.
That's very
and your children, and make sure you go see your grandmother, spend more time with your loved ones who are getting older. You can't be behind a chair missing everything, missing out on everything. There's life happening outside of the walls. So I'd probably tell her that. Prioritize yourself and your ideas, And so I got one last question, KiKi. I know you're a very busy lady, but what are your biggest inspirations from your stylist journey?
Biggest inspiration?
Yeah.
Ooh, I've had some big ones.
And you've survived a lot. You've survived some of the top stylists in the game, and
my biggest what inspired me to keep going?
Definitely.
What inspired me to keep going? Seriously,
yes, come on with it.
Being a salon owner, watching the type of stylists that would gravitate to me in my business. So, for instance, watching the independent contractors that worked within Quiescence purchase houses, going on vacations, sending their kids through college. That inspired me to keep my doors open, because people depend on Quiescence to make a living for themselves.
That's heavy.
And so I don't know if they really value that, but that's what I sing when we're at work and a coworker would be like, "Oh my God, I just closed on my house, and we're all celebrating."
And you could
And
facilitate
everybody else
that.
is clapping. We're all clapping. But my praise was different because I'm like, God, thank you for giving me the strength and the perseverance to keep this salon in play so that these types of testimonies can be birthed out of, and they're not looking at it like that at all.
Right.
Because they're in there doing hair, they're working, they're doing what they do to purchase and to make these decisions.
Absolutely.
These life-changing moments for their family and their loved ones and for themselves to better their lives. That's what they come into work for.
Right.
But it was the business that, of course, they could have went anywhere.
That's right. But they chose Key Essence.
But honey, when I saw my coworkers succeeding, making moves, going on trips, money in the bank, and just all the things, they did not ever, not one time, have to tell me thank you personally.
Because
I in my heart know if it had
you're
not
secure,
been
yes,
for the Lord on my side to help me to maintain this business.
That's right.
You know, those testimonies would have not came to fruition for real.
Right. Absolutely.
And so it's just like, that's what inspired me to just hang in here. Being in the driver's seat is very sacrificial. You know, I would make sure my bills at the salon were paid before I even paying my own personal bills at home. Come on now.
It means just that much.
It meant,
and people are counting on you.
People depending on me, and that is where my inspiration came from. Like I was inspired to, you know, keep this business going so that everybody else can keep their businesses within my business.
Absolutely.
And so, and it just still does something to me these days. Even a stylist that no longer even works in my salon, I see them out doing great, working in other salons or having their own salon. It's still something in me still be like, you planted a seed.
That's right. That's right.
I be like, God,
you did it.
Thank you.
We top of the list.
Because when they see me, you know, they you know, hey, KiKi, good to see you. But I see their success, and I know that I had even if it was just
help them up the wall.
Right. Yeah, I had something to do with that.
Yeah, a launch
and
pad.
I'm not bragging and boasting about that. It's
not
just
at all.
reality.
That's your inspiration.
I see a stylist.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I got a little pinch. I have a little something to do with that. And
That's
I'm
right.
like, God, thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's right.
But that's where my inspiration and motivation came from all those years.
Oh, wow.
Watching everybody succeed. Yeah. As a result of me being obedient to the call. Of
yes.
Nice.
And, you know, and I know we're approaching time, but that it sticks to knowing your assignment.
Yeah.
Sometimes God puts assignments on us, and we don't know what we're doing. We don't even know if we have the energy or the means to carry out the assignment until someone says, KiKi, thank you so much for giving me a job. I didn't know. Thanks for taking a chance on me. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. And then you're like, okay, this is my assignment.
Yes.
And then we have to be obedient to those assignments.
And whether people say thank you or not, because I've had plenty of people be grateful and thank me.
Yeah.
And then I've had some not, and that's still okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's just like,
in your heart, you know
what assignment has, like you said, I've been.
You submit. You submit and you say, you know what? I don't know everything about this, but I'm going to start because I know I'm supposed to.
And that's why I know God is going to always see about KiKi.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I stay faithful to the assignment.
Absolutely.
Right. You know what? So when you do good, good comes back to you.
That's 100%.
That's a word.
That's it.
That's a word.
We're all benefits. We're all reaping something that we sowed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're sitting here all fabulous. Right. That's because, honey, we reaping some of this good stuff that we done sowed.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Look at what God did. Look at what God did.
I'm like, come on, Jesus.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go ahead. KiKi, thank you.
Thank you.
For allowing us to come into your beautiful salon today. Keisha, thank you as always so much for being here. And thank you for tuning in to the Queen's Address. We'll catch you next time. Peace and love.
Queens in the house.